Okay, so let's unpack this. Today, we are undertaking a deep dive into nutritional strategy, specifically focusing on the foundational building blocks of a healthy eating pattern. This isn't about, chasing the latest fad diet. It's really about grasping the core mechanisms your body uses for fuel and repair.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is the core definition we're working with. We aren't just talking about isolated meals. We are discussing balanced nutrition as like a comprehensive system, a diet that strategically provides all essential nutrients in the correct proportions to support your health and, long-term well-being. It moves beyond just eating healthy foods to actually mastering the balance.
Right. And for you, the listener, the mission is practical. We are extracting the knowledge needed to make simple, sustainable adjustments to that overall pattern to drive, hopefully, faster results. Because the key insight, and this underpins all these sources, it's crystal clear. Consistent physical training without proper, healthy nutrition simply will not yield the results you are seeking. So we need to focus intently on the structural requirements: protein, healthy carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Let's begin with the foundational structure, protein. When people look to improve their diet, this is often the first macro they try to optimize, but our sources emphasize that variety is critical here.
Exactly. Variety ensures you get that complete profile of amino acids. Our materials list the strong contenders: lean meats like chicken, turkey, or, lean cuts of beef and pork. Fatty fish like salmon and tuna are excellent too because they deliver both high-quality protein and those crucial fats, which we'll cover shortly.
Yeah, we will. And we can't overlook some classic complete protein sources like eggs. They are kind of the gold standard for bioavailability, aren't they? On the dairy front, you have high protein options like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese. Good stuff.
And, if we connect this to the growing diversity in modern diets, we absolutely must focus on robust plant-based sources too. Think about the versatility of tofu, tempeh, and all forms of legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas. These sources aren't just great alternatives. They often come bundled with high fiber content, which is a huge plus.
Right, bundles. And speaking of bundles, there's a great nugget here about grains. Most people categorize grains strictly as carbs, right? But quinoa is specifically highlighted. It's a whole grain that is also remarkably high in protein content. It's a stellar example of a complex sort of dual-purpose food.
It really is. And this emphasis on diversity even extends to vegetables. Things like high-protein vegetables, broccoli, and spinach, for instance. They might not replace a chicken breast gram for gram, no. But when they are integrated throughout the day, they significantly contribute to your overall protein intake and your nutrient load. It all adds up.
Okay. So once we have the protein foundation in place for structure and repair, we shift to energy. Let's move on to healthy carbohydrates. Here, the focus seems to be entirely on selecting carbs that deliver steady fuel and high fiber, effectively filtering out the refined, simple sugars.
That's the key.
Yeah.
We're looking for complex carbohydrates, the slow burners. This means choosing whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat pasta, and especially oats, which are just packed with fiber. Fiber is the key component here, definitely. It slows the digestive process and nutrient release, keeping things steady.
And look, we see our versatile friends, the legumes, beans, lentils, and chickpeas appearing again. It just confirms their status as a powerhouse, doesn't it? They deliver complex carbohydrates, plenty of fiber, and protein. They are truly an efficiency food for the strategic eater.
Totally. We also want to highlight nutritious starchy options, like sweet potatoes. They're packed with complex carbs, sure, but also deliver vital vitamins and minerals, unlike, many processed starches. And if you are trying to maintain steady energy levels and avoid that mid-afternoon crash, the sources strongly recommend focusing on the consistent integration of whole grains, particularly oatmeal, into your routine.
Yeah, that sustained energy release is crucial. Crucial for anyone trying to stay productive or maintain rigorous training. Okay, finally, let's discuss the essential supporting role of healthy fats. These are absolutely vital, often misunderstood, I think, and integral for hormone production and nutrient absorption.
Indeed. And our sources specify high-quality fat types. We start with avocado. It's renowned for its monounsaturated fats. That's a type of fat that's great for heart health along with its fiber content. A real winner. Then there is extra virgin olive oil, a clear staple of the Mediterranean dietary pattern for good reason.
And circling back to those essential fats, we must mention the cold water fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, and trout. These are paramount because of their high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, which are critical for reducing inflammation and for brain function, too.
Absolutely. And the nuts and seeds category is just expansive, and so beneficial almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, all delivering healthy polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, along with fiber. But here's where the conversation gets truly interesting, I think, diving into the nuances of specific fats.
Okay, what stands out? Well, what stands out to me is the careful inclusion of a detail many people argue about: coconut oil. The sources mention it, acknowledging it is high in saturated fat, a type we're typically told to reduce, right? But they justify its moderate use because it contains unique medium-chain triglycerides, or, unique fatty acids. It's a great example of how nutritional guidelines can be complex.
It really is. It shifts the focus from just banning a food to understanding its chemical structure and using it strategically in moderation. And speaking of strategic moderation, the inclusion of high-quality dark chocolate, specifically high cocoa content, is brilliant. It's a treat option that provides healthy fats and crucial antioxidants. It proves that a healthy pattern can, and frankly should, include enjoyable, nutrient-dense foods.
Okay. We've broken down the necessary ingredients, the essential trio of macros: protein, carbs, fats. Now, what does this actually mean for creating daily habits? The notes stress that successful nutrition is fundamentally about the overall pattern, the consistency, not just the content of one single meal.
Exactly. This moves us into the actionable steps. We need to synthesize the list of habits into a sustainable strategy. This isn't just a list of 6 rules. These are 6 areas to focus your behavioral change efforts.
Got it. Let's discuss the first 2 then: variety and balance and hydration.
Okay. Variety and balance is really about nutrient diversity. You must aim for foods from all groups. That's how you ensure you get a wide spectrum of vitamins and minerals. Your body just can't perform optimally if it's missing key micronutrients. Oh, and the document also provides a practical warning. If you consider supplements, always do so under the guidance of a healthcare professional. Supplements are meant to supplement a whole diet, not replace it. That's key.
Good point. And the second step, hydration, sounds foundational, yet so many people overlook its impact. Why is drinking plenty of water and limiting sugary drinks and excessive caffeine so essential to this overall pattern?
Well, water is necessary for virtually every metabolic function. Think nutrient transport, energy production, everything. If you are dehydrated, your energy levels just plummet and your ability to focus decreases significantly. And limiting sugary drinks is crucial because they provide empty calories that mess with blood sugar stability, which kind of counters the goal of steady energy provided by those complex carbohydrates we just talked about.
Makes sense. This brings us to the third and maybe the hardest step: setting the limits. Specifically, reducing consumption of processed foods, added sugars, salt, saturated fats, and those dreaded trans fats. If I'm a busy listener, how do I practically implement this reduction without feeling completely overwhelmed?
You start with label reading. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Processed foods are often defined by their high content of cheap, quickly absorbed ingredients. You have to be proactive in controlling saturated fats and sugars. And regarding trans fats, honestly, you should actively avoid them, period. They are known to both raise the bad LDL cholesterol and lower the good HDL cholesterol, making them uniquely detrimental.
Okay, that explains the critical importance. When checking labels, what's a common trick manufacturers use to hide processed ingredients or sugars? Something to watch out for.
Well, look for ingredients that are clearly not, actual food, long chemical names sometimes. And watch for sugars masquerading under different names like dextrose, maltose, high fructose corn syrup, other syrups. Honestly, the sheer number of ingredients on a label is usually a pretty good indicator of how processed a food is. Reducing these foods drastically simplifies your ability to maintain a healthy pattern. It really does.
That's a practical nugget right there. Okay, step 4 is perhaps the most psychological. Listen to your body. We must learn to distinguish between physiological hunger and eating out of habit or boredom. That's tough.
It is tough, but it's fundamental to sustainable health. Paying attention to genuine hunger and fullness cues helps regulate energy intake naturally. It's what your body is designed to do. If you eat simply out of habit, or because the clock says so, you are overriding your body's sophisticated regulatory mechanisms, which often leads to unintended weight gain and digestive issues down the line. It requires mindfulness at the table.
Right. Mindfulness. Okay, step 5 is about structure. The source advises maintaining regular meal timing, eating balanced meals and snacks to stabilize energy. But if someone's workflow is constantly disrupted, how do they actually integrate consistency? Seems tricky.
Consistency doesn't necessarily mean eating at the exact same minute every day, but rather ensuring regular input of fuel. That's the goal. If you skip meals, your blood sugar plummets, leading to intense hunger later on, which almost inevitably causes overeating and, frankly, poor food choices. We've all been there. The structure prevents you from entering that desperate sort of decision-making crisis state. It's about preparation and predictability, fitting those balanced meals around your known schedule, even if that means packing a strategic snack, planning ahead.
Preparation, right.
Yeah.
And finally, step 6 is the recognition that generalized advice can only take you so far. Personalization. The document is very clear. If you have dietary restrictions, severe health conditions, or highly specific training goals, you really need to work with a registered dietitian or healthcare provider.
It's exactly. A generic plan is great for starting out, for getting the basics down, but performance, or managing a health condition, requires precision. A professional can tailor the macro ratios, calorie intake, and specific nutrient delivery to match your medical history, current activity level, and future goals. They ensure the pattern truly supports your life. That holistic view, focusing on the overall, customizable pattern rather than just listing foods, that's the main insight here, I believe.
That is an excellent summary. We've moved beyond just the what and really into the how of building a superior eating pattern. We started this deep dive with the concept that training without proper nutrition strategy won't yield results. Pretty blunt, but true. Now that you have this synthesized guide to the essential trio protein, healthy carbs, and healthy fats, and a clear framework of 6 actionable steps, this raises an important question for you to consider.
Yeah, think about this. Given the critical nature of controlling processed ingredients and listening to your body, what immediate, non-scale related step can you take this week? Just one step to evaluate if your current overall eating pattern is truly supporting your lifestyle and fitness goals.
Is it time to finally really learn to spot those hidden sugars on food labels? Or perhaps spend just a few days tracking your water intake to ensure true hydration? Identifying and addressing just one area of imbalance in your pattern can initiate substantial positive change. Thanks for letting us guide you through these sources. We hope this deep dive helps you become better informed.